What's going on, everybody? Rob Doster here from the Field of 68. And today we're going to bring you another episode in our NBA Draft Prospect Profile series. These are going to be dropping throughout May and throughout June, a couple a day. So if you do like this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel and do hit that like button. Anything that you can do to interact with these videos, it really does help the channel. It helps more people like you find this content. And since I have you here, make sure you check out our Instagram and TikTok pages. We are going to be pumping out more unique content over there throughout the spring and the summer heading into the 2022-23 college basketball season. Like, for example, did you know that Penny Hardaway was shot when he was in college? I didn't know that. You can find that story right now live on our TikTok and Instagram pages. The links for those are in the description below. So without further ado, let's get into another Field of 68 NBA Draft Prospect Profile.
All right, I'm Jeff Goodman of Stadium here with former Clemson sharpshooter Terrence Oglesby. And for the Field of 68 2022 NBA Draft Profile, we're going to break down the game of Nebraska's Bryce McGowens. And I know, T.O., you know him well because he hails from the state of South Carolina. So you've been watching this kid since he was young. And listen, he initially committed to Florida State, then chose to go to Nebraska to play for his brother, Trey, who transferred from Pittsburgh. Bryce was highly recruited coming out of high school. 6'7", 180, five-star kid, the highest rated recruit by Nebraska and Fred Hoiberg. What do you like about Bryce, first of all?
Well, one thing that really sticks out about Bryce McGowens the first time you see him is I heard Robbie Hummel say this a lot about Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey just moves different. Bryce McGowens fits this mold. 6'7", 6'8", extremely long arms, just has a smoothness about him. His gait, I mean, he just looks like an athlete. He looks like an NBA athlete that's going to be able to make a lot of things happen. He can score at a high level. Whenever you average over 17 points a game in the Big Ten, you can score because those defenses are loaded up on you. So you're going to have to find difficult and creative ways to get buckets. Bryce McGowens can do that. Extremely long-limbed. He's going to be able to guard multiple positions. He is frail. That's going to be a thing to watch out for. But because he's so long and his length, his wingspan has to be above 6'10", 6'11". Because of that length, he's going to be able to guard some of the bigger, stronger players in the NBA if he doesn't let them get into his body. But from an offensive perspective, that's where he's most intriguing because he's got a plus jump shot. He's going to be able to get to the rim. He's a creative finisher with either hands, and he's a good athlete, especially off one leg. Now, I realize in the NBA, you have to be able to play off of two, because you have to be able to hold these big, strong bodies off. But he's somebody that I think with time and a little bit more strength work in his lower body, he's going to be able to do that as well. But excellent length, a guy that can hit tough shots, and he's a good cutter without the basketball as well, which I think obviously is a big key to playing in today's NBA.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's a guy who put up numbers on a bad team last year, let's be honest. And that's kind of the concern sometimes. But when you look at him, you say to yourself, all right, let's project him down the road when he does put on 15 or 20 pounds, when he does get in the gym and work on his shot, because he did not shoot the ball well from long range this past year. Shot 27% from three.
But he's going to be able to. That's something
as long as he puts in the work.
He's got good hands, and if he puts in the work, like that's something that would project well if I were scouting Bryce McGowens.
See, I like taking him late in the first. To me, for a good team with a good culture that doesn't need a lot from him right away, I think he's a second contract type of guy. It's going to take him some time. I'd much rather have him on a winning franchise rather than throwing him to the Wolves on a early second round to a bad team that he's just going to get numbers. And because he just came from a scenario where they lost a lot of games and he got numbers. I would much rather see him slow it down, play the long game, and again, not have to do too much. Even go to the G League. Go to the G League for a year and get stronger to whereas when you come up and play in the NBA, you're not going to be manhandled, because right now I think he's going to have a tough time physically in the league.
And the fit is so important. In my comparison, I have two comparisons and they both went to Michigan. I don't know what it is about the Midwest for me right now, but there's a guy that I played against and you're very familiar with. Manny Harris could really score it.
Yes.
He could really score it. And what did he turn into in the NBA? He fell into some bad situations. He turned into a 32-point-a-game guy in the G League and couldn't quite figure out how to be an NBA player because he was only geared one way. So fit for Bryce is going to be incredibly important. But, if you could flip it on the other side, he could be a Karis LeVert type player. Somebody who takes a little bit longer to figure it out, long wing, can score it, has some craftiness to his game, a decent enough passer. He's going to be able, he projects really well, but he is one of these, what is it? High upside. What's the correct way of putting that, Jeff? High risk, high reward.
Yeah.
I mean,
high risk, high reward.
This.
High risk, high reward guy. That's exactly what Bryce McGowens is. And that's why you take a shot at him late in the first round. In somewhere in the 20s, I think he probably goes somewhere between 22 and 35, somewhere like that. Because again, when you look at the league right now, what do they want? They want versatile wings.
Yes.
Right. Long, versatile wings. Now, Bryce McGowen, again, he's got to put on a little bit of weight to get there. But you look at some of these other guys and he can put it on the floor. Not a great passer, but I think he can learn to be a pretty good passer. But as long as he puts in the work, and that's the biggest thing for me, is as long as he puts in the work and he becomes a plus shooter. Because if he can't make shots, Theo, then to me, he can't finish around the basket right now. He becomes kind of a volume non-scorer because I don't know how he's going to score in the league right now if he can't make shots from at least from 18 feet.
Well, I love your projection of 22 through 30. One of these top teams, for example, the team that comes right off my mind is about 2 hours down the road, the Atlanta Hawks, because you have some younger wings, but the culture is starting to be put in. Kevin Huerter, he's a worker. DeAndre Hunter, he's a worker. Like they've got guys that are in there working hard. Nate McMillan's kind of a calming, stable force for a lot of those young wings. And
they
somebody
don't need
like that.
Right. And they wouldn't need him right away. That's where he needs to go. He needs to go where, honestly, you don't need anything from him for the first year or two.
That's right. You're projecting long-term with Bryce. You're projecting that, hey, this guy's going to be able to score once he puts on weight. And I have no doubt that he's going to be able to do that.
Can he guard anybody in the league
I think
right
the
now?
length and athleticism project that he will guard.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that he guarded at a tremendously high level. Of course, I'm not sure anybody at Nebraska did.
Right.
I'm not really sure what's going on there, but he has the potential to guard because of that length and his ability to cover a lot of ground really quickly. He's got loose hips. He's going to be able to get to spots. But like you said, high risk, high reward, long-term project. He's 2 to 3 years away. And like you said, second contract could be his big when he finally comes out and you say, hey, man, where's this Bryce McGowens kid coming from? Played at Nebraska. It's been a while since we've heard of him. And then he comes on and plays really well in a playoff game. And then you're like, okay, this is when he's going to be able to escalate and show that he could be a long-term NBA player.
Yeah, I think, again, with Bryce McGowens, the talent is there. You look at him and you say that, all right, this is the type of player that they want in the league right now. To me, it's going to be more about work ethic and fit, whether or not Bryce McGowens is somebody we hear from in the league down the road he's got the ability to be it would not shock probably either of us if Bryce McGowens is a starter in the NBA in 5 years. It also might not shock either of us if Bryce McGowens isn't in the NBA in 5 years.
Well, I think you could also look at somebody like a Will Barton.
That's a good one.
6'5", 6'6", really long, slider frame, but can really score it. He was picked 40th by Portland, and he's turned into a really good NBA player. Average over right at 15 points a game this season. That's somebody that he could strive to be moving forward. Somebody who's an explosive scorer off the bench. Yep. He's going to provide some energy, and then he's going to end up getting paid a lot of money.
All right, there you have it. Bryce McGowens, freshman out of Nebraska, probably a late first, early second round pick. Make sure you subscribe. Field of 68 YouTube. We're on Twitter. 2022 NBA Draft. We've got everybody covered for you in the NBA Draft. So for Jeff Goodman of Stadium, for Terrence Oglesby, thanks for joining us.